Hi, Nolan Johnson here for Real Time with SMTAI. Right now I'm sitting with Dr. John Mitchell from the IPC. Hi, John.
How are you doing, Nolan?
I'm doing just fine, and
Great.
you?
Excellent.
Great. So we've been having a lot of fun getting ready to do this interview.
Yes, we have.
And there's a lot going on for IPC right now, especially around Apex coming up later.
Very soon, 3 months. We'll be there in San Diego. It's I believe the week of the 20th, and now my people are going to be wanting to shoot me for not knowing the exact date. It's the third week of January in San Diego. But yeah, a lot going on there. We're excited about our keynote. We'll be one of the chief engineer technologists from Tesla. We'll be keynoting the event, and we have several different announcements going on. As you know, IPC is all about helping the industry with standards, education, advocacy, and solutions. And specifically on the education front, we've had a lot of activity going on throughout the industry. There's changes happening to the certification program that I think the whole industry is excited about. But we've also been working to, there's a real shortage of qualified, skilled workers in the workplace right now.
It's true.
And so we've been, 2 weeks ago I was in the White House talking about the same thing. We're working in Europe on the skills agenda. So we've convened over the past year a group, it's called the JTA, Job Task Analysis Committee, and it's really HR and hiring manager leaders from the industry coming together to help identify what are the jobs that are hardest to fill, and then what are the skills that make up those jobs. And we're working with them to create training programs so we can take literally people who have nothing to do with our industry and help fill some of those gaps that we have right now as an initial foray, and then they can continue on to more advanced degrees and things like that, night school or what have you. And so that's one effort that's ongoing, but we're also excited. We'll be making our official public announcement, although we've been talking about a little bit, about the IPC Education Foundation. And our education efforts right now are really focused primarily, we do hundreds of thousands of certifications and professional development, and all that's really focused on people who are already in the industry. So this new 501c3, so you can actually donate and get a receipt we found actually a lot of the engineers that we work with want to give back and want to find ways to help. So this is a way they could even individually donate. But this is really focused on high school and college students and trying to help them overcome some of the perceptions they have about the manufacturing industry, providing high school students with, we call them badges. They're like mini certifications that will allow them to go out, maybe get a summer job. They can go to a plant near them and really experience the industry. Because we find, back in the day, manufacturing was a dirty word in two senses of the word. It was like, I don't want my kids to go into manufacturing, or the plants were frankly filthy. It was just, they pictured it more like coal factories as opposed to plants. And today's factory is a modern marvel. It's clean, you're using AI, robotics, additive technology, really cool stuff. And so to try to overcome that perception, we want to get people into people's plants. And this is one of the ways we're looking to do that, and get them something that maybe get them some money and get them a job.
Right. It's interesting that you're pointing that out. There seems definitely to be a dynamic around that. There are two kinds of manufacturing facilities out there in our industry. Old ones from the 90s or before, which are frankly kind of nasty.
Some of them are, but they're modernizing. They have to.
When you compare to the new ones that they're using now and look back, there's a definite difference there. The workforce coming out now seems to be particularly digital in mind frame, particularly remote. The internet and the cloud is something that is very much a part of their life, and they expect to see that in their workplace as well. So the manufacturing facilities that are embracing that and looking forward certainly are in place to gather up the talent.
Yeah, and that's the challenge, finding the talent, because especially if we're at 3.5% employment right now in this country, and it's not terribly different in many other countries, you're fighting for people now. It's not people fighting. You don't have a huge choice of people to come work at your jobs. You've got to provide an environment that appeals to whomever you might want to be seeking. And that's a little bit different game than it has been in the past. In fact, I have a blog that we've been putting on LinkedIn and as well as on a blog site that talks about the workforce conundrum, where I think part 4 came out today. And by the time this airs, who knows what part we'll be on. But anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of, it's not an easy problem to solve.
Right.
There's, we have challenges with engineers coming into the market. that even though they may have some technical knowledge, what they're trying to do at the work, there's a gap there still, and we're trying to figure out there's a need there. As we talked about earlier, operators, skilled people coming in to work on factory floors, can't find the right people there. So it's a multivariable calculus.
Right. And of course, we haven't even touched on the fact that there's a large amount of the population in our industry who are on the verge of retirement, taking that knowledge, taking that industry expertise with them, and leaving a big skills gap.
Yeah, there are progressive companies out there that are grabbing this younger group and pairing them up in an effective way, an unfrustrating way to both parties, so that they can have some of that knowledge transfer, et cetera. And that sort of thing has to happen. We don't want to lose what is probably on the order of hundreds of thousands of years of experience over the next 5 to 10 years without somehow transferring that. And we need to be working as an industry to make sure that goes forward.
Which is exactly, I would guess, why IPC is so involved in this part of the education process.
Education, the electronics industry is changing every minute, not just every day or every week. It's literally changing every minute. And so if we don't develop a mentality of constantly learning, of improving and adding new skills to ourselves, we will continue to struggle as an industry. And so the people we hire need to be the people, when you're looking to hire somebody in your industry, you need to be hiring somebody that wants to continue to learn. And when your organization or your company offers programs that continue to educate, that's going to be attractive, because you have to take a longer view for, especially the newer employees, the Gen Zers or millennials, really want to make sure that they're continuing to grow and use their skills, and it's all part of that equation.
Fantastic. Hey, well, thank you for taking the time.
Oh, my pleasure. Good to be here.
Really appreciate that.
Thanks, Nolan.
Educational. I'm Nolan Johnson for Real Time with SMTAI.